Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. For this video, I want to break down or I want to go through what is the MRes program, what should you look out for, universities that are offering some of these programs and how you can apply and just everything or a good amount of information around what you need to know before you apply for MRes and what does it even entail. The reason I thought this would be an interesting take is because I know a lot of people are interested in MRes and you probably know someone or you yourself are thinking of it or you've already even know someone or you've already started the program or know someone who is starting the program or one of the programs because there are several MRes programs across the UK. MRes has always been in the system. It's a program that have been running for several years. But the reason why it's become more popular, where we now have more people, especially international students, applying for it, is because of, or one of the reasons, let me not say the reason, but one of the reasons is because of the immigration system that have now changed and is a bit more supportive for international students to use this route to migrate to or to come study in the UK and also get their family along with them. That being said, what is the MRes program? What are some of the information you should consider or be aware of? And that's what I want to talk about. Right, an MRes degree is actually one of those programs that universities run to empower students, international students in this context, given that a lot of international students are interested in it, but it is to inspire students to be able to do research and carry out research projects. So carry out from start to the completion of a research project. Generally, an MRes course is very research oriented. It focuses on research, how to do research, apply research within the field that you are interested in. I think the next thing you would then ask is what's the difference between an MRes and a thought master's? Obviously, like I said previously, MRes have now gained some recognition or a good amount of recognition lately, given the political landscape or changes that have been implemented in the UK system. However, before the MRes recognition and interest, it used to be the masters in whatever program or whatever field that you are interested in. A lot of people would apply for masters in public health, for example, like mine, which is the MPH. Some will apply MSc in art in whatever program. The main difference between those taught degrees and the MRes degree is really just the research, the focus on research, the emphasis on research, the interest on research. Again, like I said, the MScs or the taught programs at the postgraduate level used to be very popular, but because of the political landscape, these have now changed to a good extent that a lot of interest is now tending towards the MRes program. And so the MRes, when you apply or when you register or get admission and you enroll on some of those programs, the focus is less on the field of study in terms of the taught knowledge, but more around how do you apply research into those fields. As you resume, you're going to be talking about research and the idea of the program you're interested in. I'm going to use public health as an example. For example, my university does run an MRes public health degree that we run currently. And so that degree, for example, once we enroll our students, from day one, we start to talk about research. We start to develop their research ideas, we start to implement, and we start to write up research, publication, and all of that. The emphasis is really on research. We have, just as a side-by-side, and I'm going to take you to a university website and just show you what an MRes program would look like on a university website and what a master's taught program would look like. Obviously, again, the interest, like I said, is tending towards MRes, but obviously if you're considering both, because I actually know a student who applied for the MRes only for them to find out that, oh, the university they applied to do have a MPH program. So they then requested to move from the MRes to the MPH because they felt they needed more field-based knowledge, professional knowledge, rather than the research aspect of it. It's really important that you know what you want to do with it. I know there are so many dynamics that comes into play for you to decide which one you want to use or do. But then you should also consider that, is it MRes that is more of value for you, or is it MSc or whatever the graduate program is? Yeah, that's like the main difference. For MRes, you have more research for, obviously you're doing more with your supervisor than you would do with an MPH. With a postgraduate program, you're looking at things like your courses in the MPH. Again, MPH. In the postgraduate program, MSc or whichever one, and all of these other programs, you're having a lot more thoughts subjects or modules, as we call them. For the MPH, I give you an example. My university, we have about 7 courses, about 6, and then the dissertation 7. We have about 6 thoughts modules that students have to register on, take classes, and pass their program or pass their modules, and then they do the dissertation at some point in all of that. Compared to the public health, which is 3 programs, 2 that we have 3 modules, 1 focused on public health, so that's the taught subjects 1, and then the other 2 focus on research method, and then the dissertation. It's very much geared towards research. It's very perfect if you're thinking of research and you want to just channel your energy into that. But again, like I said, I do know some people are interested in it because of the political landscape, and that's still something you want to consider outside you completing the program. What are you going to do with the degree? It's not just about the political or the interest that it gives you in terms of your personal dynamics, but also after that, what are you going to do with such a program? Now, who should do an MRes? I am putting this together generically, not considering your personal dynamics about maybe the interest or the attractiveness of the immigration part of things, just generically. The first one is that it's a good way for some people to think about doing a PhD. So I do know some students, as soon as they come for their postgraduate masters, they are already thinking about their PhD. They want to do a PhD. For example, myself, when I finished my master's, I got my PhD admission right before, even before I finished my master's. I was still on my master's because I knew that was what I wanted to do. Some people already know MRes will be a good way for them to channel that. If you have professional experience, is also a good one. So the profession or your field of study, you have a good professional experience that lends itself to you already having good background knowledge of some of these things and how they work, then you may not need the TOTS program. You probably will be better off channeling into the MRes, if that is obviously what you want. If you're passionate about research, so that means, like I said, as soon as you go in, you start to talk about research and do research. If you're very passionate about that, I know some students on our program, in addition to their MRes, they are doing other research projects with different professors and research team that they work with on different research projects. If you're that passionate about research and you just like to, you have the skills, or you are interested in building up more on the skills, then MRes will be good. Obviously, if you want to do what I do, if you think, yep, I think I have the knack for it, then MRes would also be a good one. I didn't do MRes, I said that before, but you know, I have MSc in public health. I did not do MRes, but like I said before, that's because the MRes was not very popular when I did mine years ago. Now it's really popular, and because I went straight into my PhD, it would have really prepared me even better if I had gone through that route, but I did not. But if you want to, if you know where you're going, the earlier you start, the better. So MRes will be good. And also, if you have research topic in mind, I'm going to be breaking down the requirements in terms of applying for an MRes degree in another video. But this one, just to say that sometimes you may be required to write a proposal for an MRes application. And so if you already have a research idea in mind and you really want to explore that, then an MRes is a good one. Now, why is it great for international students? I'm just going to go through this quickly because I already mentioned it previously. It prepares you for research career. If you're interested in research, you finish your MRes, you can become a research associate, you can become a research fellow, research assistant in different capacity on different projects. You see those big projects like the Gates Foundation or Wellcome Trust and all of these. They give some of these academics huge amount of money, 500,000 pounds, 1 million, 10 million, or even more. You know, there are some massive projects like that. So those sort of projects, you can be part of them, because most of them, they request support from research assistants and research fellows. I remember there was it last year, I had a professor who got grants. She got a huge amount of money, and she reached out to me through my online platform, and she was saying, I need someone, because she knows I did some stuff in diabetes. So she was asking me that she needs someone who is in diabetes field as a research fellow, and the pay was really good. I was thinking, you know, are you sure you want me to recruit for you, or do you mind if I take it on? It was really good, but obviously I'm just joking. I didn't take it on, consider taking it on, but it was I look at the pay and I'm like, whoa, research fellow get this much? I mean, and they don't do all the academic, you know, like we have in academia, all of the things that we have to deal with as a lecturer. So I was really like, this is not bad for just focused on your passion, research. So that's something you can do. If you want to start up an NGO, there's also some, especially for those within public health, you know. If you're thinking of, especially, because obviously, you know, with the MRes is 1 year for most uni. But if you're thinking of a PhD after that, and you want it to be funded, an MRes will put you in a very good stance of getting scholarship. So it's something good about that. I know I'm just talking your ears off. Right. So what else? I think in general, that's kind of like what an MRes will entail. Okay, yeah. Let me tell you about what you would actually do for most uni. They are very similar. So you will start by, like I said, depending on how they arrange the modules. If I use my uni, for example, the first module you would do is your research method module. Now, this is very key, and we did this strategically because it prepares you for the actual dissertation, which is your research implementation module, right? So the research method module, we planned that because we felt not everyone is at the same level in terms of their research skill or their research knowledge, even though as an MRes student, we expect some level of, you know, awareness around research, but people are at different levels. So you have this program, this module for the first semester to prepare you. So you do things like the research methods. So like qualitative research, quantitative research with hands-on practice. So not just theoretical delivery, but also hands-on. You're doing mini projects on qualitative, you're doing on quantitative, and then on a systematic review as well. So we teach you all of those things. And then while you're doing that, you're starting to get a feel of your dissertation, because the dissertation module comes immediately. Well, they run concurrently actually. So, but the dissertation module for the first 6 weeks, or for a few weeks, I believe, we're introducing you to the research climate in the university. What are the research expectations, your ethics, the procedure for ethical approval, what research can you or can you not do, your proposal design, and all of that. So you get to do that concurrently with the research method module. Now, when that is done, about a few weeks, maybe I'm trying to remember, I think it's about 8 weeks or so, then you then get introduced to a supervisor. So by this time, we expect that you have a good idea or some idea of what area you want to focus on. And so we'll then match you with colleagues that are experts in whatever area you have identified. Now, once that is done, you will then be focused with your supervisor. So that means you're having your weekly meetings, you're having your assignments being given by your supervisor for you to go and do before the next meeting, you're updating them, and a whole lot, you know, goes on like that. So in the second semester, so when you finish the first semester, that's the end. You have those two modules, like I said, the research method and your dissertation concurrently. And then for the second semester, you then have a subject-based module. So for our program, we then have the public health module, which is health improvement and whatever. So that is actually my module. So I teach that second semester module. So you're already in your dissertation module from your first semester, and then it runs into the second semester where you then start to take my module and continue on till the end like that. So by the third semester, you'll be done with my module and you focus on finalizing your dissertation module. So those 3 phases. So that's sort of like what it entails in general. So I don't know if there are any questions that anybody would have around these. I really want to do this series. It's going to be like 10 or 12 videos step by step about MRes. But if there's any other part that I've missed out that you want me to clarify, I'm happy to do that. Thank you for listening.